The alarm woke Captain Tom Reed from a deep sleep. He jumped out of bed and reached for his uniform. The bright red emergency lights bathed his small cabin in an eerie glow. "Captain, to the bridge," the voice on the speaker said. "Unusual object detected." Tom had spent 20 years exploring the deepest parts of Earth's oceans. At 45, his hair was turning gray at the temples, but his eyes still held the sharp focus of a man who commanded respect. The year was 2150, and humanity had finally mastered the art of living under the crushing pressures of the deep sea. Tom walked quickly through the curved hallways of the Mariner, the most advanced research submarine ever built. The ship could dive deeper than any vessel before it, able to withstand pressures that would crush older submarines like empty soda cans. "Report," Tom said, as he stepped onto the bridge. His second-in-command, Jack Wilson, pointed to the main screen. "Sir, we picked up something strange about 20 minutes ago. It fell from the sky and sank right into Challenger Deep." Tom frowned. Challenger Deep was the deepest known point in Earth's oceans, nearly 7 miles below the surface. Few things could survive hitting the water at high speed, then sinking to such depths. "Show me the readings," Tom said. The screen changed to show data charts and sonar images. A large object, about the size of a small ship, was sitting at the bottom of the ocean trench. "It's giving off heat and some kind of energy we can't identify," Jack said. "And sir, it moved slightly after it landed." Tom's eyes widened. "You think it's a craft? Something with people inside?" "Or something else," Jack said quietly. Tom took a deep breath. "Call headquarters. Tell them we're going to check it out." 4 hours later, the Mariner had reached Challenger Deep. Through the thick glass windows of the submarine, Tom could see nothing but darkness. The powerful lights of the ship cut through the black water, showing the rocky ocean floor. "There it is," said Linda Green, the ship's chief scientist. She pointed ahead where the lights revealed a strange shape that didn't belong in this ancient, untouched place. The object was smooth and oval, with no sharp edges. It had a metallic surface that reflected the submarine's lights in strange patterns. It looked nothing like any human craft. "Is it a spaceship?" Jack whispered, saying out loud what everyone was thinking. Tom gripped the railing tightly. "Let's find out. Move in closer, but carefully." As the Mariner approached, everyone on the bridge held their breath. Humanity had wondered for centuries if they were alone in the universe. Now, at the bottom of their own ocean, they might finally have their answer. Suddenly, a beam of blue light shot out from the object, scanning the submarine from end to end. "Hold position," Tom ordered, his heart racing. "No aggressive moves." The light disappeared. Then a section of the smooth surface slid open, revealing a dark opening. "They're inviting us in," Linda said, her voice shaking with excitement. "Or it's a trap," Jack warned. Tom thought for a moment. "We'll send the remote probe first." The small underwater drone was deployed from the Mariner's bay. Tom controlled it himself, guiding it slowly toward the opening in the alien craft. The probe's cameras showed the inside of the vessel, which was filled with water. "They live underwater, like us?" Jack asked in surprise. "Maybe not like us," Linda said. "Maybe they flooded it after they crashed." The probe moved deeper into the craft, its lights revealing strange technology and symbols on the walls. Then, in a central chamber, the cameras showed movement. 3 tall figures floated in the water. They had slender bodies with 4 long arms, and skin that seemed to shimmer with a blue-green light. Their faces had large dark eyes that reflected the probe's lights. "First contact," Tom whispered. "Send the standard greeting package through the probe." The probe projected images and simple mathematical sequences designed to establish basic communication. The aliens watched, then one of them swam forward and touched the probe with a long webbed hand. Suddenly, all the computers on the Mariner lit up with new data. "They're sending us information," Linda said, typing rapidly. It's a translation matrix. They're trying to talk to us." Within minutes, crude text appeared on the main screen. "We are Void Collective. Ship damaged. Need help." Tom stared at the message in amazement. Then he typed back, "We are humans. From Earth. We will help. More text appeared. Impressed. You. Survive deep pressure. Most species cannot. Tom exchanged looks with his crew. The aliens seemed surprised that humans could build technology that worked at these depths. Request meet in person, the aliens messaged. Tom thought carefully before responding. Safe for us to enter your ship? Yes, environment compatible. Tom made his decision. Jack, Linda, suit up, we're going in. 20 minutes later, Tom and his two officers approached the alien craft in their pressure suits. These suits were a marvel of human engineering, allowing people to move freely even under the crushing pressure of the deep ocean. As they entered the opening of the alien vessel, Tom felt a mixture of fear and wonder. The inside was lit with a soft blue light that came from the walls themselves. The three aliens waited for them, floating in the water. One alien moved forward, raising its hands in what seemed like a greeting. Through a speaker in their suits, the humans heard the aliens' translated words. Welcome. We thank you for assistance. Tom nodded. We're glad to help. What happened to your ship? Navigation error. Not prepared for Waterworld with such pressure. Systems damaged. Where do you come from? Linda asked. The alien gestured upward. Stars. Many systems away. We explore, seek resources, find new worlds. Tom noticed how the aliens kept looking at their pressure suits with great interest. Your technology impressive, the alien said. To live under such pressure. Our people never mastered this. The deep ocean was our final frontier on Earth, Tom explained. It took us centuries to develop this technology. The alien made a strange movement that might have been a nod. We would learn more. About your oceans. About your world. As Tom looked at the three strange beings, he felt a chill that had nothing to do with the cold water around them. The way the aliens studied their equipment seemed too intense, too focused. Of course, Tom said carefully. And we would like to learn about you. This is a historic moment for our people. Yes, the alien agreed. Historic moment for both our peoples. As they continued talking, Tom couldn't shake the feeling that these visitors were hiding something important. The alien seemed far too interested in Earth's oceans and humanity's deep-sea technology. What Tom didn't know yet was that this small scout ship was just the beginning. The real test for humanity would come when the main fleet of the Void Collective arrived. And by then, it might be too late. They thought Earth's oceans were unconquerable, until the terrible war begins with the Starship Part 2, Rising Tide. 6 months had passed since the discovery of the alien ship in Challenger Deep. The world had changed forever. Humans were not alone in the universe, and everyone knew it now. Tom Reed stood at the window of the World Ocean Council building in New York, looking out at the harbor. Ships moved across the water, and beyond them he could see the massive form of a Void Collective vessel hovering above the ocean. Captain Reed, a voice called from behind him. The meeting is about to start. Tom turned to see Kate Miller walking toward him. She was a brilliant scientist who specialized in ocean technology. Her red hair was pulled back in a neat ponytail, and her green eyes were sharp with intelligence. Over the past months, she had become one of Tom's closest friends and allies. It's Admiral now, remember? Tom said with a small smile. After the first contact mission, Tom had been promoted to help manage relations with the aliens. It was a job he had never wanted. Sorry, old habits, Kate said. How are you feeling about today's meeting? Tom frowned. Something isn't right, Kate. These aliens are too interested in our oceans. They keep asking for access to our deep water bases. Kate nodded. I've noticed the same thing. Did you see the latest technology exchange proposal? They want detailed plans for our pressure-resistant materials. They walked together into the large meeting room. Around a circular table sat representatives from Earth's major governments along with 3 members of the Void Collective. The aliens looked strange in the special water-filled suits they wore to move around in Earth's atmosphere. The lead alien, who called himself Blue Speaker, turned his large eyes toward Tom and Kate as they entered. Admiral Reed, Blue Speaker, said through his translation device, "We are pleased you could join us. Tom nodded politely but said nothing as he took his seat. The head of the World Ocean Council, Director James Brown, began the meeting. "Today we will discuss the next phase of technology exchange," Director Brown said. "The Void Collective has offered to share their faster-than-light drive system in exchange for access to our underwater farming methods and pressure-resistant materials." Several government officials nodded eagerly. The promise of faster-than-light travel had made many humans blindly willing to give the aliens whatever they wanted. Tom leaned forward. "Before we proceed, I'd like to ask Blue Speaker a question." The room fell silent. The alien's eyes blinked slowly. A gesture Tom had learned meant curiosity. "Why does a spacefaring race have such interest in ocean technology?" Tom asked directly. "You navigate the vacuum of space, yet you seem fascinated by how we handle water pressure." Blue Speaker's 4 arms moved in a pattern that the humans had come to recognize as discomfort. "We seek to learn from all species we encounter," Blue Speaker answered smoothly. "Your adaptation to high-pressure environments is unique." Tom wasn't satisfied with the answer, but Director Brown quickly moved the meeting forward. As the discussions continued, Tom whispered to Kate, "I need to show you something. Meet me at the Harbor Research Lab tonight." Later that evening, Tom and Kate stood in a secure room at the underwater research facility beneath New York Harbor. Tom locked the door and activated a device that would block any listening technology. "What I'm about to show you isn't official yet," Tom said. He pressed a button on a computer and images appeared on the large screen. Kate gasped. The screen showed a Void Collective ship hovering over the Pacific Ocean. A long tube extended from the ship into the water. "This was taken by one of our surveillance satellites 3 days ago," Tom explained. "They're taking water samples from different oceans, a lot of samples. They told us they were just observing weather patterns," Kate said, her face pale. "There's more." Tom showed her another image. This one was a map of Earth with strange markings over all the major underwater bases and facilities. "I found this in their computer system during a scheduled maintenance check," Tom said. "They're mapping our underwater defenses." Kate sat down heavily in a chair. "What are they planning, Tom?" "I don't know for sure, but I have a theory." Tom pulled up another file. "This is everything we know about their homeworld. It's dying, Kate. Their oceans are drying up, becoming too toxic for life." Kate's eyes widened with understanding. "They want our oceans." Tom nodded grimly. "And they have the technology to take them." As if on cue, an alarm began to blare. Tom's communication device buzzed urgently. He answered it, listening with growing horror to the message. "We need to get to the command center now," he told Kate, his voice tight with tension. They ran through the facility to the central operations room. Screens around the room showed chaos unfolding. A massive ship, unlike any they had seen before, had appeared in Earth's orbit. "What is that?" Kate whispered. One of the officers looked up with fear in his eyes. "The aliens call it the Abyss Walker. It just appeared 30 minutes ago. No warning, no communication." Tom stared at the enormous vessel. It was at least 10 times larger than any of the Void Collective ships they had seen before. Dark and menacing, it seemed to absorb the light around it. "Get me a direct line to Blue Speaker," Tom ordered. But before anyone could act, the screen showed smaller ships leaving the Abyss Walker, heading toward Earth's surface. "They're targeting coastal cities," an officer reported, her voice shaking. "New York, Tokyo, Rio, Sydney." Tom grabbed a microphone. "This is Admiral Reed to all underwater bases. Go to full alert status. This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill." The first explosion hit before he finished speaking. The entire facility shook. Water alarms began to sound as the harbor above them was struck. "What are they doing?" Kate asked, gripping the edge of a console to stay upright. Tom looked at the readings on the main screen, his face grim. "They're using some kind of weapon that can control water itself. They're creating massive waves targeting our coastal defenses first. Outside, the water in New York Harbor rose in an impossible wall, defying gravity and natural laws. Then it crashed down on the city with devastating force. "It's begun," Tom said quietly. "The war for Earth's oceans." As they watched the destruction unfold on the screens around them, Tom realized with bitter clarity that the Void Collective had never been interested in peaceful exchange. From the moment that first scout ship had landed in Challenger Deep, they had been planning this attack. Humanity had mastered Earth's oceans, but now they would have to fight for them against an enemy from the stars who wanted to steal the very thing that made their planet special. And Tom knew that the real battle had only just begun. 3 weeks after the Abyss Walkers' arrival, Earth was losing the war badly. The Void Collective's space weapons had destroyed most of humanity's satellites and space defenses within days. Major coastal cities lay in ruins, hit by weapons that turned the oceans against their builders. Deep underwater in what used to be a research facility off the coast of Hawaii, Admiral Tom Reed looked at the grim faces around the meeting table. This base, built to withstand the crushing pressure of the deep ocean, was now one of humanity's last command centers. "Report on the extraction ships," Tom said, his voice tired but determined. Kate Miller, now the head of Earth's science team, touched a screen. A map appeared showing large red dots in the Pacific, Atlantic, and Indian Oceans. "They've positioned 7 major extraction vessels," she explained. "Each one is literally pulling water from our oceans and storing it in massive tanks. At the current rate, they'll lower sea levels by 1 foot every month." A military officer named General Mike Davis shook his head in disbelief. "How do we fight an enemy with such advanced technology? Our remaining missiles can't even reach their ships in orbit." Tom stood up and walked to a window that looked out into the dark ocean. Fish and other sea creatures swam past, unaware that their world was being stolen. "We need to think differently," Tom said. "We're fighting on their terms right now, in space, in the air, areas where they're stronger. But there's one environment where humans excel and they don't." He turned to face the room, his eyes bright with a new idea. "The deep ocean," Kate said, understanding immediately. "They never mastered high-pressure environments on their homeworld." Tom nodded. "Exactly. Have you noticed something about their attacks? They target coastal areas, shallow waters, but they avoid our deep-water bases." General Davis leaned forward. "You think they can't handle the pressure?" "I'm certain of it," Tom replied. "Kate, show them what you discovered yesterday." Kate pulled up a video on the main screen. It showed an underwater recording of a Void Collective soldier who had been captured during a raid on a shallow underwater base. "Watch what happens when we gradually increase the water pressure," Kate said. In the video, as the pressure gauge climbed higher, the alien began to show signs of distress. At pressure levels that humans could easily withstand with basic equipment, the alien's water suit started to crack. Before the pressure reached half of what the human base could handle, the suit failed completely. "Their technology isn't built for deep pressure," Tom explained. "It's their weakness and our strength." A spark of hope appeared on the faces around the table. "So what's your plan, Admiral?" General Davis asked. "We convert our deep-sea research vessels and submarines into warships," Tom said. "The Mariner will lead the fleet. We'll add weapons using parts salvaged from downed alien craft, and we'll attack them where they're vulnerable, from below." Over the next 2 weeks, Tom's plan took shape. The Mariner, once a peaceful research vessel, was transformed. Engineers added weapons made from modified alien technology. Divers recovered parts from crashed alien fighters, and Kate's team worked day and night to understand and repurpose the enemy's own weapons. Most importantly, they discovered that the aliens themselves couldn't survive in high-pressure environments. What had been a simple advantage in peacetime had become humanity's greatest weapon in war. One morning, as final preparations were underway, Kate found Tom in his quarters, studying maps of the Pacific Ocean. "The team has something to show you," she said with excitement in her voice. In the main lab, Kate's scientists had built a strange-looking device using parts from alien weapons. "We call it the pressure bomb," Kate explained. "It creates a field of extremely high pressure, similar to what you'd find 4 miles underwater, but in a targeted area. Against their ships, it should crush their hulls. Against their troops, it will be instantly fatal." Tom studied the weapon with newfound hope. "How many can you make?" With the materials we have, maybe 15. But if we can capture more of their tech, we can make more. Tom nodded. It's time to fight back. 3 days later, the newly dubbed Deep Fleet was ready. 5 converted research submarines and 3 military submarines were equipped with the new pressure weapons and modified to operate for extended periods without resurfacing. The Mariner led the fleet into the Pacific Ocean, where one of the largest alien extraction ships was pulling thousands of gallons of water from the sea every minute. All vessels maintain radio silence, Tom ordered from the Mariner's bridge. Remember, we attack from below where their sensors are weakest. The Deep Fleet moved silently through the dark water, approaching the massive tubes that the alien ship had lowered into the ocean. These tubes, each as wide as a house, were the aliens' vulnerable point, the only part of their ships that had to extend into the pressure of Earth's oceans. Pressure readings on the extraction tube? Tom asked. They're keeping the interior at low pressure, the sensor officer replied. Just as we expected. Tom looked at the faces of his crew, men and women who had trained to explore the oceans, now preparing for the first battle in humanity's fight for survival. Deploy the pressure charges, Tom ordered. From each submarine, divers in advanced pressure suits swam out, carrying the devices Kate had created. They attached them to the massive extraction tubes at strategic points, then quickly returned to their vessels. All charges placed, the operations officer reported. Divers are clear. Tom took a deep breath. Detonate. The ocean seemed to shimmer as the pressure bombs activated. There was no explosion, no fire, just a sudden, intense compression of the water around each device. But the effect on the alien technology was devastating. The extraction tubes crumpled like paper straws, the metal twisting and collapsing under pressures it was never designed to withstand. Warning lights flashed throughout the Mariner as the alien ship above responded to the attack. They're dropping depth charges, the sensor officer shouted. Dive deeper, Tom commanded. Take us down to crush depth. The Mariner plunged deeper into the ocean, where the natural pressure would help protect them from the alien weapons. The other submarines followed, disappearing into the darkness of the deep sea. Above them, the alien extraction ship was in chaos. Without its collection tubes, it couldn't complete its mission, and its weapons couldn't reach the human vessels in the crushing depths where they now hid. For the first time since the war began, humans had won a battle against the Void Collective. When the Mariner finally returned to the underwater base 3 days later, the crew was greeted with cheers. News of their success had spread, giving hope to resistance groups around the world. This is just the beginning, Tom told his crew as they docked. We've proven they can be fought. We've proven they can be beaten. Kate met him at the airlock, her face glowing with excitement. We intercepted their communications after the attack. They're scared, Tom. They never expected us to fight back from the deep. Tom nodded, feeling a glimmer of hope for the first time in weeks. They thought Earth's oceans were just a resource to be taken. They didn't understand that we've spent centuries mastering the most hostile environment on our planet. And now? Kate asked. Now we show them what happens when they try to take the oceans from the people who conquered them, Tom said with determination. The real war has just begun. 2 months had passed since the first successful attack against the Void Collective's extraction ship. The war had changed. What started as a desperate fight for survival had become a real battle, with victories on both sides. In a hidden underwater base beneath the Atlantic Ocean, Admiral Tom Reed stood before a holographic map of the solar system. Red dots represented alien ships. Blue dots showed human vessels. The war had spread beyond Earth now. The modified Jupiter station reports another successful hit, reported General Davis, pointing to the area near Jupiter's largest moon. 3 alien supply ships destroyed using the pressure weapons. Tom nodded with satisfaction. Earth's remaining space stations had been equipped with the technology Kate Miller had developed, weapons that created crushing pressure fields, deadly to the Void Collective's ships and soldiers. And what about the Mars colony? Tom asked. Still holding, Davis replied. The deep tunnels are keeping our people safe. The aliens don't seem comfortable fighting underground either. Another pressure issue. Tom studied the largest red dot on the map, The Abyss Walker, the massive alien flagship. It had moved to the far side of Jupiter, away from Earth's weapons. Intelligence suggested it was surrounded by a protective fleet of smaller ships. "Any word from our scout ships?" Tom asked. "Not yet," Davis said. "They're being careful. If the aliens discover our main fleet's location, we'll lose our advantage." The door to the command room opened, and Kate rushed in, her face showing a mix of excitement and concern. "Tom, we've made a breakthrough," she said, not bothering with formal titles. After months of working closely together, such formalities had disappeared between them. She placed a small device on the table. It looked like a metal cylinder with glowing blue lines running through it. "What is it?" Tom asked. "We're calling it a pressure field generator," Kate explained. "Based on their own technology but modified. It can create a bubble of extreme pressure around itself, about the same as you'd find 3 miles underwater." Tom picked up the device, examining it carefully. "Portable?" Kate nodded. "And small enough to be carried by one person? We've tested it against captured alien materials. It crushes everything." "How many can we make?" "That's the problem," Kate said, her excitement fading. "We need a special element from their technology. We've used up our entire supply from the captured ships. We need more." Tom looked back at the holographic map, his eyes focusing on the Abyss Walker. "Then we'll have to get more." 2 days later, Tom stood in the hangar bay of the underwater base watching as a special team prepared for a mission unlike any they had attempted before. 20 of Earth's best deep-sea divers and soldiers were checking their equipment. "This is a volunteer mission," Tom reminded them, "the most dangerous we've attempted so far." The team leader, Commander Bill Foster, nodded. "We all understand the risks, Admiral. But if Dr. Miller is right about what's on that ship, it's worth it." Their plan was bold. Perhaps too bold. They would use Earth's newest vessel, the Oceanic, a submarine that had been modified with alien technology to travel through space. It could withstand the pressure of the deep ocean and the vacuum of space equally well. The Oceanic would travel to Jupiter, where the Abyss Walker was hiding. Under the cover of a meteor shower that would mask their approach, they would attach to the alien flagship and infiltrate it. "Remember," Tom said to the team, "your primary objective is to gather the materials Dr. Miller needs. Your secondary objective is to learn whatever you can about their plans." As they prepared to board the Oceanic, Kate approached Tom. "I should be going with them," she said quietly. Tom shook his head. "We can't risk losing you. You're the only one who fully understands this technology." "But I could identify the right materials faster than anyone," Kate argued. "Which is why you've spent the last week training Foster's team," Tom replied firmly. "They know what to look for." Kate looked like she wanted to argue more, but instead, she handed Tom a small device. "This is a prototype pressure shield. It might help them if they encounter resistance." Tom took the device and gave it to Commander Foster. Then he addressed the team one last time. "Good luck. The future of Earth depends on your success." 4 days later, Tom paced nervously in the command center. The Oceanic had reached Jupiter space but had gone silent as planned to avoid detection. They wouldn't know if the mission succeeded until the ship returned or didn't. "Admiral," a communications officer called out suddenly. "We're receiving a transmission. It's weak, but it's using our encryption." Tom rushed to the console. "Put it through." Commander Foster's voice came through, broken and static-filled. "Mission partially successful. Have the materials. But discovered terrible plan. Ship damaged. Miller. They took Miller." Tom's blood ran cold. "What about Miller? Say again." "Dr. Miller was captured." Foster's voice came through more clearly now. "She insisted on coming aboard at the last minute. Stowed away. Helped us find the materials faster, but alarm was triggered. She told us to leave. Sacrificed herself." Tom gripped the edge of the console, his knuckles white. Kate had disobeyed his direct order and snuck aboard the mission. "What about the plan you discovered?" Tom asked, his voice tight with emotion. They're not just taking our water, Foster replied. They plan to transport Earth's entire oceans to their homeworld. They've built a massive portal near Saturn. Once activated, it will pull all of Earth's water through to their planet. It would kill everything on Earth. The command center fell silent as the implications sank in. And Dr. Miller? Tom asked, dreading the answer. They took her alive. They seemed interested in her knowledge. Tom closed his eyes briefly, then straightened his shoulders. Get back here as fast as you can. We need those materials. After ending the transmission, Tom turned to General Davis. Prepare the fleet, all of it. Davis looked concerned. Sir, we were saving some ships in reserve. There's no point in holding anything back now, Tom interrupted. If they activate that portal, we're all dead anyway, and I won't leave Kate in their hands. Over the next week, Earth's remaining forces prepared for an all-out assault. The materials brought back by Foster's team allowed Kate's research group to create hundreds of new pressure weapons. The Oceanic had also brought back detailed scans of the Abyss Walker. Tom studied them carefully, looking for weaknesses, for a way in. Their security will be tighter now, General Davis warned during a planning session. They'll know we can infiltrate their ships. Yes, Tom agreed, but they still have the same fundamental weakness. They can't handle pressure, and now we have a new weapon they won't expect. Tom pointed to a specific area on the alien flagship's blueprints. This is their research section where they're likely holding Kate. And this, he pointed to another, area, is their command center. If we hit both, we can rescue Kate and cripple their leadership in one move. General Davis looked skeptical. That's the most heavily defended part of the ship. Yes, Tom said with determination, which is why they won't expect us to target it directly. Tom's plan was taking shape, a daring, perhaps foolish assault on the heart of the alien fleet, but he knew they were running out of time. If the Void Collective activated their portal, Earth was doomed, and somewhere on that massive alien ship, Kate Miller was a prisoner, possibly being forced to help the very enemy trying to destroy her world. We attack in 3 days, Tom decided. It's time to take the war to them. The day of the final battle had arrived. Every remaining ship Earth could muster was gathered near the dark side of the moon, hidden from the alien fleet's sensors. Admiral Tom Reed stood on the bridge of the Mariner, which had been completely rebuilt with a mix of human and alien technology. It could now travel through space while still maintaining its ability to create crushing underwater pressure inside its hull. All ships report ready, Admiral, General Davis said, standing next to Tom. The Deep Fleet awaits your command. Tom looked at the screen showing the massive enemy armada. The Void Collective had brought their entire fleet to Earth, preparing for their final assault. The huge portal device near Saturn was almost complete. Intelligence suggested they would activate it within 24 hours, dooming Earth by stealing its oceans. And the rescue team? Tom asked. Commander Foster's squad is ready. The stealth ship will break off during the main attack. Tom nodded, his face grim but determined. Begin Operation Undertow. Across the fleet, engines fired to life. 117 ships, all that remained of Earth's combined space forces, moved from behind the moon toward the waiting alien armada. At the center of the human fleet, the Mariner led the charge. On the main alien flagship, the Abyss Walker, Kate Miller struggled against her restraints in a laboratory filled with strange equipment. For 3 days, the aliens had questioned her about Earth's pressure technology. They had been especially interested in the pressure field generators she had designed. The alien scientist named Blue Speaker entered the room, his forearms carrying various instruments. Your fleet approaches, he told Kate. A foolish last attempt to stop us. Kate said nothing, but her heart raced with hope. Tom was coming. Blue Speaker moved closer. We have studied your pressure weapons. Impressive, but it will not save your world. Soon, the portal will activate, and your oceans will flow to our world. Why? Kate finally asked. Why take our oceans when there are uninhabited water worlds in the galaxy? Blue Speaker's large eyes blinked slowly. Because yours has life. Life that has adapted to pressure, to depths. Life that will help restore our dying seas. Kate realized, with horror, that they weren't just stealing Earth's water. They wanted Earth's marine life too. Every fish, whale, even the microscopic organisms that made the oceans thrive. An alarm suddenly blared throughout the ship. The battle had begun. In space, Earth's fleet engaged the alien ships. But unlike previous battles, the human vessels didn't just fire weapons from a distance. They closed in, getting dangerously close to the alien ships. When they were nearly touching, they activated their new weapons, pressure field generators, adapted to work in space. The effect was devastating. Alien ships crumpled inward as if crushed by giant hands. The Void Collective, so used to the emptiness of space, had never developed defenses against intense pressure. What had protected them in space, hulls designed to keep pressure out, now worked against them when pressure was applied from outside. On the Mariner, Tom watched the battle unfold. Status of the stealth ship? They've broken off from the main fleet, an officer reported, approaching the Abyss Walker from below. Tom nodded. And the portal device? Our forces are engaging the ships protecting it, but we haven't been able to get close enough to destroy it yet. Tom studied the tactical display. The battle was fierce, with losses on both sides. But the human fleet was fighting with desperate courage, knowing this was their last chance. "Sir," the communications officer called out, "we're receiving a transmission from inside the Abyss Walker. It's on Dr. Miller's emergency frequency." Tom rushed to the console. "Put it through." Kate's voice came through, weak but clear. "Tom, can you hear me?" "Kate, are you all right? We have a team coming for you." "Listen carefully," Kate said urgently. "I've learned how their portal works. It needs a massive power source to activate. They're using the Abyss Walker itself to power it. If you can disable the ship's main reactor, you can stop the portal." Tom looked at the tactical display again. The Abyss Walker was heavily defended, surrounded by a wall of alien ships. "We can't get close enough to the flagship yet," Tom replied. "They've surrounded it too well." There was a pause before Kate spoke again. "Then I'll have to do it from inside. I've managed to get free from the lab. I think I can reach their reactor control room." "Kate, no, wait for the rescue team." But the transmission had already ended. Tom slammed his fist on the console in frustration. "All ships," he ordered. "Focus fire on the Abyss Walker's defensive line. We need to break through now." Aboard the Abyss Walker, Kate moved carefully through the alien corridors. The ship was in chaos, with alarms blaring and aliens rushing to battle stations. She had memorized the ship's layout from the data Foster's team had stolen. The reactor control room was just ahead, guarded by 2 alien soldiers. Kate clutched the small device she had managed to hide during her captivity, a miniature pressure field generator she had been working on before her capture. She activated it, aiming carefully. The focused pressure field hit the guards, crushing their protective suits. They collapsed without a sound. Inside the control room, Kate worked quickly. The alien technology was strange, but after days of being forced to study their systems, she understood enough to know what to target. Outside, the space battle reached its peak. Earth ships were taking heavy losses, but they had created a gap in the defensive line around the flagship. Tom ordered the Mariner to push through. "All weapons target their main engines," Tom commanded. The Mariner fired everything it had at the Abyss Walker's massive engines. Other Earth ships followed, concentrating their fire on the same point. Inside the flagship, Kate finished her sabotage of the reactor controls. Warning lights flashed across the alien consoles. She had diverted the power flow, creating a feedback loop that would overload the reactor. But before she could escape, the door to the control room opened. Blue Speaker stood there, his eyes narrowed with anger. "You would doom your people," he said. "Without our help, your oceans will eventually die too. All worlds face the same fate as ours." "No," Kate replied firmly. "We will find our own solutions. Solutions that don't involve stealing from others." Blue Speaker moved toward her, but at that moment, The ship shuddered violently as the mariners' weapons hit their target. The alien was thrown against a wall. The rescue team, led by Commander Foster, burst into the room, their pressure suits allowing them to move easily through the ship. "Dr. Miller, we need to go now!" Foster shouted. Kate nodded and ran to join them. "The reactor's going to overload. We have less than 10 minutes." They raced through the corridors toward their escape ship, fighting alien soldiers along the way with their pressure weapons. On the Mariner's bridge, Tom watched anxiously as the minutes ticked by. "Any word from the rescue team?" he asked. "Nothing yet, sir," the communications officer replied. Suddenly, the officer's console lit up. "Sir, incoming transmission from Commander Foster's ship." "We have her, Admiral." Foster's voice came through. "Dr. Miller is safe. We're clear of the Abyss Walker." A cheer erupted across the bridge. Tom felt a weight lift from his shoulders. "Get back to the fleet immediately," he ordered. "I think we're about to see—" Before he could finish, the Abyss Walker's reactor exploded. The massive ship broke, apart, sending shockwaves through space. The portal device near Saturn, suddenly cut off from its power source, went dark. The alien fleet, seeing their flagship destroyed and their plans ruined, began to retreat. Some ships tried to continue fighting, but without central leadership, their attacks were uncoordinated. 3 hours later, the last alien ship jumped away from Earth's solar system. The war was over. In the Mariner's medical bay, Tom found Kate being treated for minor injuries. "You disobeyed a direct order by sneaking aboard that mission," Tom said sternly. Then his face softened into a smile. "And you saved Earth by doing it." Kate smiled back, tired but proud. "They never understood us, Tom. They thought they could take our oceans because they saw water as just a resource. They never understood that we learned to work with the oceans, to adapt to them." Tom nodded. "They thought Earth's oceans were unconquerable until they met the people who had conquered them." 1 month later, Earth began to rebuild. The technology, salvaged from the alien ships, gave humanity new tools, new possibilities. Most importantly, they had gained knowledge of the wider galaxy. On a beach near what was once New York City, Tom and Kate stood watching the waves. The city behind them was still in ruins, but already, construction crews were at work rebuilding. "What do you think they'll do now?" Kate asked. "The Void Collective. Find another way to survive, hopefully," Tom replied, "without stealing from others." Kate looked up at the stars beginning to appear in the evening sky. "And what about us? What will humanity do now?" Tom smiled. "What we've always done: explore, adapt. The oceans taught us how to survive in the harshest environments on Earth. Now we'll take those lessons to the stars." As the sun set over the Atlantic Ocean, Earth's defenders looked to the future, a future they had fought for and won, by turning what seemed like their greatest challenge into their greatest strength. The stars awaited, and humanity was ready to dive into the deep unknown.